Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. This gentleman is full of so much positivity, has lived a long, long life, has so much more to do in his life. And I know he's growing as a person, even as we speak. Such a big heart. And this is somebody who has given part of his life to our military and also farming in 2 different farms in the United States, also in other countries, and also with a real estate. He's all about the land, and he's all about helping and doing the right thing. Today, very successful life as Diamond of the Decade here. And look at that to inspire a younger generation with Ervin M. Sir?
I'm very good, thank you. The sun isn't shining, but it doesn't always shine, you know. You've got to take it the way it comes and be positive.
So we've shared that we both have teenage daughters, and we're both up there in age. Do you want to share your age once again?
Yes, I'm 79.
Wow. And with that,
everybody tells me that I don't look like I was in Vietnam for 2 years, but it is what it is.
It's almost, hearing you talk and how you're so full of life and come off younger in terms of your views of everything and your energy. Even to hear you say Vietnam almost doesn't even connect in my mind. It really doesn't. That you were part of that. Hopping on helicopters. And isn't that how you met your wife in the military?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I met her at the airport in Baltimore.
Wow. How funny. My best friend is going to Baltimore this weekend from New York.
Wow.
Yeah, he's moved down there, and she is also in a dance competition, so he's driving down there, watching it, and driving on back.
Well, that's very good.
Yeah. So what would you say to people who are younger as inspiration for reaching for their dreams?
You know, this is America. Not to say that we're the only country around that has issues, but you know, life is what you make it. And in this country, there's so much opportunity. All you have to do is dig in and work at it. And
Does it really come down? I mean, my parents instilled that in me. It's hard work. You have to do the work if you want to see your life move forward. Is it really come down to that in your opinion?
Well, yes, part of it. You know, you are what you do. You know, you have to. There's no success story. It's within yourself to make that success. Whatever you feel as you know yourself, what you are, and then you work at it, and it will come. It's just a matter of continuing to work hard at what you want.
So you just said something, and I want to focus on that for just a minute. You said, know yourself. And in my journey, and this is even in the last few years, I find that many of us don't truly know ourselves. And on that journey, I feel I've discovered myself, more connected to who I am.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I really mean that. Thank you. It was a journey, and lots of different things you can do to discover yourself and what really aligns with you. But when did you realize that you knew yourself? Like, yeah, this is me. I can rely on me. I have faith in me. Do you remember when that might have happened in your life?
I do believe that it was when I was working for my uncle and my grandfather and grandmother on the farm in Minnesota. And I think I may have mentioned before, I was driving the tractor late at night, plowing, and I was looking at the earth flying by as I plowed along. It just was a kind of magical. I had never gotten that feeling before, but it was a solitude time, when it was just me and the tractor and the earth. And it was wonderful.
I can completely understand that. And why? What do I mean by that? Number one, you were with one and the earth, which is so important. Being out there in nature, grounding yourself, huge to just get clarity on many different things. But also at the same time, the quiet. Many of us don't find the silence in life because there's so many distractions, and we don't get to even take a moment to think. Do you feel the same?
Yes, you put it very well.
Long time to learn that. It really did.
Well, at least you learned that, and now you can grow from that.
Yes, and it's my belief too, and I love your view of it, that things that happen to us, good or bad, is part of a learning experience, and you can't look back and say, "Oh, I can't believe that happened to me." It was part of your journey that got you to where you are now, that will get you to where you're ultimately supposed to be if you're not already there.
Yeah, you have to really think positive and keep that with you throughout your life, and I believe it will enrich you.
Now, when it comes to real estate, that's another passion of yours. Have there been times where, and again, everything's a learning experience, that you look back and you say, "Wow, I should have invested in that, or I should have done that deal differently"? Anything like that resonate for you?
Well, it's kind of unusual, but I had a friend of mine who asked me to find a house for him, and he was looking around, and by gosh, he saw a house that was on the market, but he couldn't get to see it. And I said to him, this is an unusual situation, but if you like that house, I believe that we can get it for you. And he said, "Well, we can't even see it." Well, I said, there's such a thing as positive thinking. We will go ahead and get this contract together, and we shall present it to, because of course there's a listing agent and a selling agent, and I was the selling agent. But for some reason or another, that listing agent wasn't doing his job, so I, told him, sign this contract. And to this day, I never understood how that house went to us, and he ended up with what he wanted. But it was part of the process of setting your mind to what you want, thinking positive, and moving ahead.
How do you stay positive?
Well,
what's the secret, sir? What's
hard.
The secret?
Yeah, sometimes it's pretty tough to go through those phases. They're easily set aside if your mind in the right process to go for what you want. That's what you have to do. You have to set that positive vibration in your heart, and I do believe that I'm a religious person, that it will come
with that positivity.
Yes.
When you say religious, tell me about that, and what do you think is the definition of spiritualism, or being spiritual?
Well, it's the old thing I think we talked about. Socrates said, know thyself. And when I was young, we had a getting together as young children under our pastor, Pastor Binger, and he felt that I should be a pastor. And he went so far as to rally our congregation up to get money so that I could go to school and become a pastor. And that was a wonderful feeling to have him think so positive about my future. But as the days went by, I knew that even though I was religious, my mother very religious, that in my heart there was something about the earth and real estate that pulled me away from that opportunity. And that's just the way it happened.
Why do you think it happened that way?
I think that my belief in, the Lord was a large part of getting me through that situation. We can't control everything, but we do have to have a belief. You have to understand that the Lord is with you if you choose to have that path opened up to your life. And that's what I believe.
So I don't want to get deeply religious here, but I feel a lot of people seek something bigger, but don't know how to do it. And it's my belief that being spiritual doesn't have to be connected to religion. It could be you believe in something bigger than yourself, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Your connection to God. How does that work for you? I mean, and where I'm going with this is we get in our car. We're so used to pressing a button. GPS tells me.
It's my GPS.
Well,
guys, I've been out here in Maryland so long. I've never used a car. None of my cars have that GPS.
Wow. Well,
but I know it so well, and of course, everyone but myself, they have these smartphones, and boom, they use them. Even my daughter, my teenage daughter, she's got her own computer and her own phone and all that type of thing. And sometimes she says, "Just a second, Dad. Let me get the." I said, "No, I got it. I got it. Just let me drive, and I'll get us there." And of course, she still turns it on strong, and we get there our own different ways.
Yeah. Well, that's life in general now, isn't it? We get there in our own different ways. I remember when, and this is only a few years ago with GPS, it wasn't as good as it is today. And there would be times I print out a map because I don't trust it. I want to look at a map. I want to know where I'm going. I want to have a better idea than just trusting a device. Would you say that you trust yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, when it comes to making decisions, I will have to say that I'm the one in this family that says what's going to happen. It's not any computer, or it's not any phone or anything like that. It's the way I feel is right for us, and that's what we do. We listen to what I say, and we do it.
Do you feel that comes from your intuition, or could it potentially come from maybe a higher source that's giving you that information?
I definitely believe that it is a higher source. It's kind of magical, but it is what I, in my gut, feel is right.
Yeah.
And I have to say that there's times, of course, that, I'll be wrong, but I'm not perfect, I do what I have to do.
I'll tell you, every time I've ignored my gut feeling, I've been dreadfully wrong. And I knew at the moment, and this could even go back 25 years ago, more. I remember having being in a certain situation, and my gut told me one thing, but I ignored it, and I was wrong, and I knew I would be wrong. And even as of last night, something, not even needing to get into detail, but a chapter closed on something last night. But I knew it was going to well before. I just didn't want to listen to my gut, and I wanted it to ride it out and let's see where it would land. But I already knew the answer. It takes time to find that faith in yourself and trust in yourself, doesn't it?
It does. I noticed that I didn't have the speaker phone on, and so I pressed the button, of course, and I could hear you much better, and proud that you were able to move ahead.
Do you ever recall, now I'm going to say this, just because you're a beacon of positivity, successful in real estate, farming, and everything you've done, has there been a moment in your life where you felt a little lost?
I believe it was the time that when COVID was very prevalent. It governed, our day-to-day activities. But I will say, I don't know if I'd mentioned it before or not, but in this house, this is a big house, and we've had a lot of people come and go, real estate people, whoever was in this house, there never was one episode of anyone coming through this house that caught COVID. We all were, safe. And it just made me feel good. Of course, there's 3 nurses in the house, but, they're only people too, It was part of that divine guidance, I believe, that got us through that time. And, of course, there's still people dying because my wife, she's down there in the VA taking care of our veterans every day, but she doesn't get sick. It's one of those things that we have done, and it makes me feel good.
Wow. It's interesting. I've never had COVID. However, I did get a weird virus last month and tested negative, but I wonder if it was COVID. People tell me that, unless you have a PCR test, that's the one that's got sent away, that you don't know truly for sure. But
right. I understand what you're saying because, some of my family back in Minnesota, they have got COVID and they lived through it. Some of their friends died. But that's the nature of what COVID did to our population.
Yeah. And somewhat unpredictable. I don't know if I shared with you that a couple of weeks ago when I had that virus, and I know where I got it from. Coworker, he was coughing. I just knew. Guess what?
Okay.
I was using my intuition. My intuition said, he said it was an allergy. I'm thinking, this is more than an allergy. Hope I don't get it. I should have been more careful because my intuition was telling me, be careful. But be it what it was, I got it, and I had acute laryngitis for a week and a half.
I remember you talking about that, yes.
My gosh, never in my life, decades of broadcast, I've never had an issue with that. The reason I bring that up again was when the doctor told me that I may not be able to speak the same way ever again, which was this about 17 days ago. That's what I was told. Yeah.
That's very recent.
Very. He even told me I was a 6 on a 10 scale of severity. He told me I might need a therapist to learn how to talk again at that point. And
that's scary.
It was. That's my livelihood. That's that's all I know. I was somewhat shocked. Went home. I sat on the bed next to my daughter, gave her a hug. She had no idea what was going on. I probably welled up a little bit, and just that was it. Got up, walked away, and I said to myself, you know what? It's going to be okay. Have faith. Have faith. It's going to be okay. You'll be...
Very positive, yes.
Yeah. And guess what? A week later, I'm talking. Fine. No issues whatsoever.
And walking and having a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. But there was something in me that said, don't worry about this. You're getting this information. Doesn't mean the doctor's right. And then part of me said, listen, if it changes, maybe you'll have a different voice. Maybe it'll be a little deeper. Who knows what it'll be? Sure. But you'll be okay. But I think it's what we're talking about, having that positivity, having that faith. I will say this: if this was 4 or 5 years ago, before I changed my mindset, I would have been in freak mode. I would have been flipping out after what that doctor told me. I wasn't. I just had a moment, and then I moved it forward. Yeah.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the same thing that you're expressing, that, when we have that faith and we move our lives forward, it can really make a difference. Ervin, always great talking with you. Love your positivity. You are an inspiration to all of us, and truly appreciate our talks and having you here on the show.
Likewise.
All right. Have a great day.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.